So let me start with this. Like, this is about social media. Look, here's the deal. You go on social media, you do a post, you get no engagement. You don't know what to post. You don't have tons of ideas. You run out of ideas. Copy. What do I write? How do I convert? How do I convert with the engagement that I do get? And how do I post on multiple platforms? Which platform is right for me? How often do I post? How do I leverage social media to build my business? I don't understand this. This is challenging, difficult. How do other people do it? That's what we're going to talk about today. What really, really works. And remember, our goal with all of this, our goal with our coaching course, our goal with the direction we're going with talking to trainers and coaches is to turn trainers and coaches into six-figure plus trainers and coaches with careers in the field, not just for a short period of time, but something you can do until you retire, something that's stable, that builds, that brings people tremendous value. That's the overarching goal. And today's topic is going to be about social media. So we're going to talk about that. Bring me to the next one here, Ann. We're going to teach you how to make a lot of money using social media. It sounds like a bold workshop title, but we know what we're doing. By the way, one of the reasons why we're doing this and why we moved towards trainers and coaches is because the space started getting flooded. I love that picture of Adam, by the way. The space started getting flooded with, how to get rich quick, make money while you sleep, easy ways to build a coaching business, become an 8-figure coach, whatever. Just a bunch of like lose 30 pounds in 30 days, but to the coaches type of thing. By the way, we get it. That's us in Doug's living room when we first started Mind Pump, when we first got into the new media space. Before social media, before all of that stuff, business looked in fitness very different. I don't know why Ann keeps posting that picture of us. It's very embarrassing. There we are as children. But all training was done in person. Here's what I'm going to tell you. The same things that made us and others successful in person are going to be what make you successful on social media. You just have to know how to use it, but it's the same principles. And this is what we figured out as we started working in new media. And that's us. That's what we do now. We're on different platforms. We're the Top Fitness Podcast. We've leveraged social media. We're one of the highest converting podcasts and media companies in the world. We have really perfected this, and we figured this out through trial and error and working with some really, really smart people. And we did this the right way with integrity, building authority, communicating good value. We took no shortcuts. We don't try to rig the system. You guys know that about us. That's how we communicate fitness. That's how we've done that. We've done the same thing with business. That's me in my wellness studio. That picture right there on the left is, although it looks like my kid, that was me in my studio in Los Gatos doing some of the first videos. And then on the right, that's us, building out our studio that we work in now. We have already over 1,000 trainers and coaches that are building profitable businesses through our teaching, what we do. Now, by the way, we're good at training clients. We're much better at training trainers. You've heard Adam say that. And we got your back. We love trainers and coaches. We want to impact the health of the world, and you guys make the biggest impact. We don't even touch the impact that you guys have on your clients. We know this. So we're thinking of ways to make you guys as effective as possible. Now, social media's got a big role now, okay? 90% of users today follow at least one business. This is how people learn about a business and understand the brand, understand the flavor, the culture, and determine whether or not they want to follow what they're doing. There's some of the action steps. Adam, do you want to talk about those a little bit? Mike.
Sorry, you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So step one is identify your USP. That's your unique selling proposition. And this is where I think a lot of trainers get hung up, is they see this and they think like, I don't know what that is. Or they think they know for sure this is what people want from me. I think that's the two biggest mistakes. Either one, having no idea what their unique selling proposition is, or feeling so convicted that this is what theirs is without really testing the market. And at the very beginning, when you are first starting to post on social media, a lot of that is filling out the audience and filling out what the people that are paying attention to, what they want from you. You may be a personal trainer who's aspiring to train athletes, but for some reason, every time you post something about mobility, that's when you get likes, that's when you get engagement, that's when you get feedback. That starts telling me this might be my unique selling proposition. Maybe even though I thought training athletes is what I really want to do, people keep asking me about correctional exercise, and people seem to be curious about the post that I'm doing around that. When you figure that out by testing, by putting out different pieces of content as you're learning, as you're educating yourself as trainer, or while you're listening to our podcast and getting information all the time, use that to start to post, to throw spaghetti on the wall, see what sticks and what people start to engage with. Then you start to really start to formulate what type of content to create, double and triple down on that type of content. And then the last part is the having the conversation. The biggest mistake, I think, that trainers that solve this, like, okay, I get it. People are liking, people are commenting. This is what I should post more of. And then they don't engage with those people. And this is going back to Sal's point about like how a lot of the rules haven't changed even from 20 years ago when we were all running brick and mortar. It is no different if somebody walked into my brick and mortar gym and it was the first time and they're looking around and they've never seen anything and I haven't seen a customer all day and one person finally walked in. Would I ignore them? Would I not talk to them? Would I not engage and find out and build a relationship with them? That's the same thing that goes today. It's crazy that we don't do that. It's crazy that we expect thousands of people to be talking or liking or commenting. It's like, no, if you get one person commenting on your post, that's like one person walking through your brick and mortar gym. I'm going to build a relationship with them. I'm going to engage with them. I'm going to have conversations with them. That's how you need to be thinking about this. And you're not looking for something to go viral overnight. I think trying to chase algorithm, chase that, it's one customer, it's one life at a time is the approach. And do not marry your ideas. You may think that this is the type of trainer or this is the type of content people want, but if you're not getting likes, you're not getting engagement, people are not commenting, then maybe they want to learn something else from you. And at the beginning, you're just trying a lot of those different things on all the mediums that we have today. And then when you start to notice that engagement, engage, can have conversation with those people and double and triple down on that content.
Now, let me add, it says there quality over quantity. That's so important, you guys. It's so important that you have, that you engage, that you build value with the people that are engaging with you. That's how you build your business. It's not through thousands and thousands of likes and millions of views. It's through somebody commenting, you conversing with them, moving to the DMs, talk with them there, move to a phone call, boom, you have a new client. By the way, this is how we run our business. And I'll tell the story. I've told this before on the podcast. We share sponsors with other podcasts. And I'll never forget this. We shared a sponsor with Joe Rogan's podcast. It was ButcherBox. Now, on a download per download basis, we converted at over 2 times the rate that Joe Rogan did. And Joe Rogan is extremely influential. The reason why we do that is because of the quality of information, the value that we built, the authority. The people trust us. So that's how you build your business. It's not about chasing views and algorithm. It is about really building a business and having those conversations. And when somebody comments or engages, that is a potential customer. Every single person. Don't look at them as just a number. So that's the most important thing to focus on.
I'm going to add one thing before we move on, and it's that if you have been watching our Mind Pump Trainers Instagram, you're seeing in real time how to utilize Instagram and social media to grow organically and authentically and sustainably. We have not paid for one follower or like. And believe it or not, because I create all the content for that on the back end, I will tell you the majority of my time is spent engaging, and it's with the interactions of people through the stories or the DMs or in the comments. And it's not just like thumbs up emoji, thanks Adam for leaving me a paragraph. It's genuine, authentic, how can I help you types of comments where people can be like, whoa, like that was a really nice, thoughtful response. That really helped me, right? This isn't like quick fix responses of coaching. This is really thinking about the person's needs, what they need, and giving it to them in a way that they're going to be able to respond to that. So if you haven't already seen our Instagram, I started taking over that around, I want to say July officially. We are close to, we are actually under 500 people till we hit 10,000, which is one of our first milestones for a company. So be sure to watch how we are utilizing it to grow your own. And then the next thing I'll say to you, just as Sal pointed out, is when we talk about quality versus quantity, we've seen accounts and large accounts who have come for coaching to Mind Pump who look like they're killing it and whose revenue is small and they can't consistently, predictably make the income that they want. So followers does not equal income, as you probably well know. And then there are small accounts who have under 1,000 or just over 1,000 followers who are killing it because their content is speaking to a specific person and the audience is really resonating with what they're saying. So I don't want you to think if you don't have a big social media following that you can't make money and you can't make this a sustainable business. You absolutely can.
100%. But go ahead. And by the way, we're going to try at the end. We will answer some questions. If we go a little long, I apologize, but I'm sure you guys are okay with that. So we're going to make sure we save some time to answer some questions.
I do want to too. I always want to make sure that when we do things like this is I want to give people tactical things that they can go and apply in their business that will help them out. So since Ann brought up the Mind Pump Trainer page, I want to give you guys some insight on how that happens and what do we do. So what Kyle does is Kyle formulates about 20 different very common questions that we see on social media platforms, through our emails, through the DMs that Ann gets. And then he sits down with Sal, me, or Justin, and I don't even really know what I'm getting myself into until I sit down. He's like, here's all the stuff we're going to cover, Adam, today. I want you to answer all these questions. And then my job, this is the quality part, is to bring the best information I can for that question that they have. And then we post it. We don't overthink it. We don't stress about, oh, how do we hack the algorithm? Do we have this sort of a hook? It's like, let's give value and then let's watch what happens. And then we evaluate those 20 that go up. And then Kyle he'll take the top 20%. So he'll take, 2 to 4 of those and go, hey, those were really good. How do we formulate that and actually say that better or in other ways? And then we'll do that again. And then we'll just keep adding to the list. And so we're constantly just putting out all this good quality, good information. And a lot of it just kind of lands on deaf ears. Some of it doesn't get thousands of likes, but then every once in a while, one of them strikes a chord. One of them hits something and it gets engagement, it gets more likes, it gets more shares. That gives us insight on, more of that content. People want to hear me talk more about that. So then now when I make those videos again, the next time he meets with me, we're doing at least 1, 2, or 3 more videos to that topic. And we're reframing it, rephrasing it, and practicing that. And it's just that cycle of doing that over and over, but led through the lens of giving value to these people. How can we continue to do that and get better at that?
Right. And you got to be consistent. We have a case study, I think, which will be coming up here. So Jordan Syatt, a lot of you guys know who he is. He's one of the smartest trainers in the industry, and he's built a tremendous business through social media. And this is a timeline of what happened with him. Now, his platform of choice was websites and blogs. He liked long form content. And in 2011, he was posting 1 article a week. So every week he would write an article and blog and put it out. And he had very little interactions. And if you ask him this, he'll tell you, he thought about stopping this, but he decided to keep it up if at least one person was getting value. Okay. He saw a person getting value. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing this. In 2013, somebody commented on one of his articles that was 2 years old. Well, fast forward, Gary Vaynerchuk's trainer was the one that previously commented, relocated, and then suggested Jordan as Gary Vaynerchuk's trainer. In other words, Gary Vaynerchuk's trainer is the one that recommended Jordan Syatt to Gary, and then that was, of course, a massive opportunity. But it all started in 2011 with him posting consistently. And I think the lesson here, there's a couple lessons here, which we'll get to more. We're going to explain this more. He had a platform that worked for him, and it takes a little work. You're building a business. Okay. So sometimes we get a little clouded with the stories of, social media page blowing up overnight or business that blows up overnight. That's not how 99.9% of business works, period, end of story. The vast majority of successful businesses take time to build, and this is true for fitness businesses as well. And I'll use ourselves as an example. Mind Pump made $0 for a year. For a full year, Adam, Justin, Doug, and myself worked and recorded podcasts and put them up. Now, the gauge that we used were people listening and commenting, were people telling us that they found value. We didn't have tons and tons of downloads, but people saw value. And so we kept going. By the way, I'm going to remind you guys as coaches and trainers why you became coaches and trainers. And it's because you have a passion for helping people. Use that in the beginning when you feel like you're just getting started. If you're helping people, you're moving in the right direction. Okay, let's talk about choosing the right platform. Here are some statistics on 3 popular platforms. Instagram, you have an age range of 18 to 34. That's the largest group, followed by 35 to 44. It's short form, right? It's an image with a little bit of a caption or a reel. If you're good at communicating in short form, if you're good at using an image, you don't have to be a professional photographer, but you do a really good job of conveying and getting attention that way, then Instagram may be a great place for you to post most of your content. YouTube, huge, by the way, platform. It's the second largest search engine in the world. Tons and tons and tons of people. The age range is pretty broad, 18 to 49. It's longer form, in-depth topics, very effective SEO and evergreen content, meaning you put up a video, it stays there. We have videos that went viral 2, 3, 4 years later. I mean, Adam brought up yesterday the example of a plank video that I did that just sat there with like 1,000 views. Then all of a sudden it got picked up by some yoga blog and it went viral. This was like 2 or 3 years later. By the way, YouTube does require, a video and whatever, but it doesn't mean you need a lot of professional editing. Some of the most popular videos on YouTube, like Sam Sulek is a good example. If you guys know who he is, he does this on his phone. It's really, are you making an impact and are you giving people value is what's important with your content. So it doesn't have to be super hyper. Don't overthink it and freak out, by the way. Just go out and do it if you think that that's the platform that you want to work on. Facebook, the age range 25 to 54. A lot of people over 55, if you're in fitness and health and you like longevity, you like correctional exercise, you like working on pain, great platform. Here's something really valuable about Facebook. They have really, really good community building methods, like their private groups. Many of you are part of one of our private groups on Facebook. It's amazing for that. So it's amazing for building a community and then weekly or whatever, providing content to that community and building a culture online. And if you do that effectively, that often converts exceptionally well. But again, you have to know who you are, where your strengths are, where you prefer to communicate. We picked podcasting because we like talking. We like long form communication. This is what we did with our clients. If I had to pick another one, it would be Facebook because I like the groups. If I were starting over right now, it would be podcasting for me. It'd be podcasting, blogs, and it would be Facebook. That's where I'd be putting most of my content. So you want to pick the one that works great for you, but kind of understand what you're working with. So
I want to make the case for Instagram because then those of you that follow Gary Vee and Alex Hormozi, you may have heard them talking a lot about this right now because Instagram has recently changed their algorithm. This has just been this year, and it's benefited the people that have less than 500 followers. So you're no longer, what used to happen was if you had the power of tens of thousands of people already, it would help boost up the algorithm if they got likes and shares and comments. It's no longer like that. They've gotten better at feeding you the same content. So if you like something that let's say is mobility related and you're a customer that's liking some content like that, and you're a creator and you have hardly any followers and you make mobility content, there's a much higher likely chance that your content will actually get fed to that person who's looking for it than there ever was before. So this is a really cool time for creators that are just getting started or just getting into the space, where just a year ago, it would be very competitive. It would be hard to outcompete the Jordan Syatt's or the Mind Pumps or the people that already have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. but now we're all on a level playing field, and it's more about the algorithms got so good at feeding people specifically the content they want. So this is what feeds into that, knowing what your unique selling proposition is. What do people want to hear from me? Getting really good and going really deep on that subject or that type of content. This will serve you on Instagram. So Sal made a good case for the other ones, and I agree with him, but I'd also put Instagram in there as one of the great places to start right now for that exact reason.
So what I'm hearing from Adam, for everybody is listening, is that this is a really good time to start a business and leverage social media. It was very noisy and crowded before. It felt like, how could I get through? Instagram, by the way, many of the social media platforms will follow Instagram because of their size. So I believe that the other platforms are going to follow suit, because it's discouraging to new content creators to get their stuff out when there's, pages with all this power. Well, Instagram now is trying to connect the consumer, the client, with the person that's communicating best to them. So it doesn't matter if you've been around forever and you have a huge page, or if you're brand new. This is a great time, you guys, to leverage social media. So once you know who that individual is that you want to work with, it becomes a lot easier to start connecting. And because it's the internet, there's millions and millions and millions of people that are perfect just for you. So you want to ask yourself a few things. What are you good at? Do you enjoy writing, speaking in front of the camera? Do you like being more behind the scenes? It's important that you ask yourself what you're good at and what you like to do, because like when people ask me, what's the best form of cardio? I often ask them back, what's the one you like the most? It's got to be the one you like the most and you're best at, because that's the one you're going to be most consistent at. Okay. So don't just look at the platforms and go, oh, fitness seems to be best on this platform or that platform. If we did that when we started podcasting, we wouldn't have started podcasting. 10 years ago, podcasting sucked. We would have gone to Instagram. That's where all fitness was. But we went with podcasting because that's what we liked. We were doing 5 episodes a week. We were consistent with it. And now we're here. You want to ask yourself who you're talking to. Again, the more precise you can get with your dream client, the more personalized your messaging will be, and the more you'll be rewarded with engagement. Okay, so I'm communicating to postpartum moms who don't have a lot of time, who are dealing with core stability issues, like very, very specific. I'm working with middle-aged men who don't have time to work out, who want to build muscle and burn body fat. Like, the more specific you can get, the better when it comes to finding those people that will work with you, engaging with them, and building your business. Find out where those dream clients like to hang out. Where do they like to go? What ages each platform works with, which one they like to communicate or get their content from, and then figure out their pain points so you can communicate to them effectively. By the way, this is a very effective way to communicate authority. Okay. I did it at the very beginning of this webinar. I started off this webinar by telling you guys, you do a post, you don't get engagement, you don't know what to post, you don't know, you don't have tons of ideas. Like, as I'm saying this, you're like, yeah. And you also, through hearing that, are like, he's going to have the solution. So communicating pain points communicates very effectively and quickly that this person might have the solution because they understand the problem. Okay. So here's this slide says client avatar profile. You want to begin by defining who you are, what services you provide based on your respective niche, and then consider the demographics and psychographic characteristics of your client. By the way, you can use AI, and we're going to get into this, and we've really figured this out. Anne has put together some pretty amazing stuff for you guys, where AI is going to help you really figure out how to communicate to your ideal individual or ideal consumer. These are some sample prompts. You did something, Anne. You put something together that you're going to send everybody, right? That's going to help them do. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so previously in one of the other slides, you can actually see a screenshot from here. It goes through exactly step by step the prompts that you're going to ask yourself, and then have a conversation with ChatGPT to generate this unique profile of your client avatar. So far as the image of the person you're speaking to, because many times we speak in generalizations. And when you're using social media, even though we're speaking in a public post, we want to look like we're actually talking to an individual. And so if we can name them and we can identify where they live and how much money they make and are they married and where do they hang out and what music do they listen to, what sports do their kids play, what clothes are they buying, all of those identities are going to allow you to create content that uses those places and that language, so that when they listen or they read it, they're like, oh my gosh, like, how does she know that? She's in my head. She must really get me. Therefore, you're building that trust and authority naturally, rather than saying, I have a certification through NASM, therefore I'm really smart and you should trust me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a way to go about it.
So, and this is when you, with this worksheet that everybody's going to get for free, it's really showing them how to prompt ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT is going to spit out, this is the person that you're talking to. Here are the pain points. Here's how you communicate to them. Here is what they look like. And then boom, I can create posts that talk to that person, or I can even have ChatGPT help me create the content, which we'll show you how to do as well.
I'd say this is,
sorry, I just add one thing, and it's just that it's getting to the psychological level of your avatar so that you can really understand what's keeping them up at night, so that when you're building this content, you're really digging those pain points and driving this far gap between where they are and where they want to be, so that you present yourself as the solution.
would you say, and I know that you and Kyle are constantly mentoring all of our coaches and trainers that have gone through the course. Is this where you guys seem to be spending most of your time, is helping the trainers with the ChatGPT piece? I feel like that seems to be an area I hear you guys conversing a lot about with them.
I actually got on a coaching call the other day with a coach, and we went through this exact prompt, and he was like, oh my God, this is so good. He's like, this changes everything for me, because I think, as you guys are mentioning, add value driven content. And what does that look like?
Yeah.
What should I be posting about? I know I want to work with this woman, but like, how do I communicate with her? Now, this isn't replacing the work you have to do. You're having a dialogue with ChatGPT, not replacing the work you got to do with ChatGPT. Think about it making you more efficient in your communication and your tasks, but it's not replacing the work you're doing. But with that being said, it's going to allow you to kind of free up some time to now get into the DMs and carry out those conversations based on the psychographic analytics that it's going to provide about the specific pain points and challenges and their desires, their deep desires that they don't even tell their significant other. They're so embarrassed and would never want to admit.
Please mute your page of that. Thank you very much. Yeah. So as an example, so she wrote one out here, and you don't, you can look at the whole thing. It is, the prompts, but look at that last one. Can you now give me a list of 20 problems that this demographic, so it's already created the demographic that you're looking for, faces as it relates to the problem that I solve. So it's going to give you these, boom, 20 just laser point accurate posts that it is assisted in you creating, and will help you with that. By the way, if you combine this with a CRM, I don't know if you guys know what a CRM is, but that's a client relationship management tool. So these are, companies use these to manage social media. So they'll put in like a few posts, and then they'll time it, and it'll do the post for them, or they'll take payments from clients, or they'll do email marketing through this and all that stuff. We have a CRM, by the way, for our coaches and trainers. So people who go through our course also get access to a CRM. When you combine this with the CRM, it's like you're doing hours of work in like 15 minutes. And it is managing your, among a lot of things, one of the things it does is it manages your social media posts, and it helps you engage. Like, in fact, you can even go on a CRM, sorry to go off, Ann, but you can go on a CRM and you can manage your DMs in one place. So I can see DMs from Instagram, messages from Facebook. It's all there from the same person. I can communicate with them right there, and it spits it out, or I can gather leads with it. We'll get into that a little bit later, but it's pretty amazing. But this right here is crazy. Like, if I had this back in the day, I mean, I can't even imagine how much faster I would have been able to, to build my business. It's pretty incredible.
The last thing I'll say, so we can move on, is number one, I was telling the guys this yesterday, but it's true. You have to be nice to ChatGPT and use manners, or it doesn't produce the quality of the response that you want. So as you can say here, I legitimately say hello. And then you always want to say at the end, like, thank you, or
Please.
I
Isn't that funny?
yes, please, and thank you. The second thing I want to remind you guys of is you want the conversation to be best case scenario. So when you're writing it from the perspective of a trainer, you can see here I use language like, you are a wildly successful personal trainer. And then I even add an example of someone who is killing it in the industry that I look up to. So now it's going to search the web and it's going to identify, okay, Jordan Syatt, Jillian Michaels, or who else you ever look up to. Now, what I'll lastly say to you is the quality of your responses will be, I will say, very much dedicated to the quality of the chat that you have. If you have a basic chat robot, which is the free version, it is not going to produce the high quality level of a response as if you were to get the paid version. No, I am not an affiliate of ChatGPT. No, I am not a robot. I'm not getting any sort of promotion for saying that. I will just tell you, I was so cheap in the beginning. I'm like, I'm not spending $20 for ChatGPT. Like, I don't need that. And then I bought it and I was like, holy cow. That's where I have the graphics and all of the, like, there's like 5 different prompts within it that are already programmed that I can utilize. So consider it if you don't already have the elevated advanced version. It'll make a big difference.
Point is, this is the future. It's important you figure this out. We've been diving through this for the last year. In fact, you guys, this is how we create programs now. So we define an avatar, then we reverse backwards, and we create a maps program based up. This is how we use it. We use it in a bunch of different ways in the business. This is the future of how everybody will do it. And it's not replacing personal trainers. It's not replacing you. It's just enhancing you. And so learning how to do this, I'd say this is probably what we spend a good majority of our time with our coaches and trainers through our course, helping them through this. It's not like one of these things where you're just going to do it one time and figure it out. It does take practice on how to prompt it, and you will get better at it. But that's why we're here to help you guys out.
Yeah. When we say our coaches and trainers, we're talking about trainers who've been through our course, and we have a group. We created a group with them, and we just like you train and coach your clients, we're constantly coaching and training them to use all of these tools to build. I mean, here's the deal. Look, again, sorry, Ann, for going off here, but we want to dominate with the best trainers and coaches. We want to change the industry. We want trainers and coaches that are effective, that build careers, being effective and authentic. And so, again, we spend a lot of time doing that. Okay, here's the formula for creating engaging content that turns leads into clients. Build credibility and not hype. You guys, authority wins over empty motivation every single time. How do you build authority? The person simply has to believe that you know what you're talking about, but more importantly, that you're authentic and honest. If they believe you to be honest, many of you buy the products that we talk about on the podcast because you believe us. Now, I'll give you guys a silly example of what I'm talking about. I'm not going to bring up who the sponsor is. Adam, don't mention it, but we had a sponsor a while ago that they had a product. It was a supplement. It was effective, but it didn't taste good. And Adam would say that when we're talking about the sponsor. He said, oh my God, it's real good, but it tastes like shit. He literally said that. The sponsor, I'll never forget, emailed us super mad. How dare you guys say it tastes like shit? Our response was, it does taste like shit. However, why don't you wait to see the conversions before you complain? And they got tremendous conversions. Why? Because a customer gets it, drinks it, and goes, oh yeah, Adam told me it was going to taste like shit. He wasn't lying to me. So authority beats empty motivation every single time. Don't forget that. Give real data, not empty promises. And again, being honest is very important. I'll use an example from training a client. I remember early days as a trainer, I thought I had to sell pie in the sky. You want to lose 40 pounds? In 3 months, we're going to get 40 pounds off you. It's going to be so amazing. And then they'd hire me and whatever. Later on, I figured out I was far more effective being totally honest. Okay, you want to lose 40 pounds. That's possible in maybe 4 months, but it's not probable. If you did everything perfect, we might be able to do that. But ask me how many times somebody has been perfect. It never happens. It's going to take a while, but that's okay. I'm going to coach you and train you through the entire process. People bought more from me and hired me more often and stuck with me longer when I was just honest with what it's going to be like. So use real data, never give empty promises. By the way, you notice when I opened this, I said, we want to build 6-figure career trainers. I didn't say build an 8-figure coaching business. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it probable? No. It's not probable that you're going to be an 8-figure coach, but I'm very confident if I train a trainer who likes what they're doing, that I can turn them into a career 6-figure trainer plus, no problem. So again, be real, not generic. Personal stories are very engaging. I just told you a little bit of personal story. I'll tell you another person. You guys have heard me talk about that woman that I blew out of the water, right? She was tracking her food, not losing weight. I found out that she wasn't putting everything in the journal. And then I talked to her and I gave her, it was a come to Jesus talk. She got real upset, left. And it's like one of my biggest regret moments. I tell that story on the podcast for 2 reasons. One, I feel bad about it. But 2, it's a real story and it communicates to trainers and coaches and clients a mistake that I made. Personal stories are super effective, far more effective than you preaching about something, okay? And you'll notice this on our podcast. We'll bring up a study or we'll talk about something, and we always talk about a personal story of how it applied. Always, here's number 4, keep it simple. We are the kings. One thing that we're the best at Mind Pump, I'll say this day in and day out, is we're the kings of keeping it simple. Now, I can hang with some really smart people. I could talk to diet scientists and expert exercise physiologists, stuff like that. But I'm trying to convey effectively. I want people to understand what I'm saying, and I want it to have impact. Keep it simple. Don't try to tell people how smart you are by the way you communicate. Tell them, be effective with your communication. And again, speak to one person, not to the masses. Communicate to that avatar, to that individual. Remember, keep it real, authentic. It's all about authority. Keep it simple and effective. That's what makes content on social media that turns into business. It turns into business by doing it that way.
Another thing to add to that when we're talking about this is vulnerability. And I'm not talking about vulnerability that we see on Instagram today where you pick your phone up and you record yourself crying. Not like that. Vulnerability is when you guys are communicating health and fitness and sharing. And when you share, it triggers or reminds you of a struggle or a challenge that you have too in that situation. And then you can admit, I've had a really hard time with this. Here's some of the things that I struggle with and how I overcame those things. Sharing from that perspective. You hear this every day on the podcast. Part of why we have resonated with so many people is because we learned to do that as trainers, is to be vulnerable. You have to remember that you may not think this about yourself, but your clients, many times, they look at you guys like superhumans, as unobtainable, that you're in this league that they can never be on. And if you always speak to them from the science and directly and like you're on this pedestal, they're never going to connect. One of the best ways to connect is by being vulnerable. By being vulnerable isn't taking pictures of your cellulite, isn't recording yourself crying. It's when you are sharing this authentic information, it's being honest. When you come across that, we don't plant that in the podcast. You just hear it come out organically because there'll be something we're talking about. And one of us will admit, man, I struggle with that. I was super challenged with that. We just had a podcast today where there was all kinds of vulnerability on there that Sal shared. I've never heard him share before in 10 years. But that wasn't planned. I didn't tell Sal, hey, try and be vulnerable today. It was just us conversing, asking honest questions of each other, and it comes out. Let that happen. Be okay with that. I know that's hard for people to do because it puts you out there, but that's some of the stuff that people are going to connect the most with. Don't formulate it, allow it to happen.
Let me add something to that, Adam. This was learned. This was a learned skill through training clients. If there's anybody on who's trained lots of clients, you actually start to figure this out, that you're more effective when you don't appear to be perfect. And my favorite story to communicate, one of my first memories around this was I had a client who, I trained this woman. She hired me to train her daughter. Her daughter had just recovered from anorexia. It was really, really bad. She had just recovered. and she came in to work with me. And so here I am, this, 19-year-old or 18-year-old kid, and I like to lift weights and whatever. And, she's hiring me and she's trying to get healthy. And so she talked to me about her body image issues a little bit. You could tell she was a little apprehensive. And I don't know what it was, but, I felt somewhat convicted. And I said, I deal with body image issues too. And she's like, what? She's looking at me because I'm not like she was. So, well, my issue's different. I always feel like I'm too skinny and I force feed myself and I've done things that aren't so healthy to try to be bigger. And it gives me a sense of control. And it's a struggle that I have. And I'll never forget the impact it had on her, and then how effective of a coach and a trainer I was with her, because she looked at me and said, he's a real person. You guys hear us talk like this on the show all the time because we learned it through training clients. It's also a great practice, but so through your posts, do the same thing. Through social media, do the same thing. Let's talk about post frequency and metric tracking. Okay. Brands that post, so here's some real data here, between 3 to 5 times a week see higher engagement rates and leads to greater sales. So 3 to 5 times a week is the kind of magic number, okay? But you got to do a few things here. Number one, you got to consider your bandwidth, okay? So what's realistic for you to do consistently, okay? Now, when you're building your business through social media, consistency is very important for 2 different reasons. One, because you're doing it often, and so you're getting in front of people often. But 2, a lot of people don't consider this. If you get followers, they need to be able to depend and rely on the fact that you're going to post on Tuesday and Thursday or whatever, okay? I know they can find your content at whenever, but when it becomes very consistent, what you'll find is the engagement goes through the roof. It goes through the roof because one of the worst things you could do with social media, but I'll use podcasting as an example. A lot of podcasters did this back in the day, not so much now because they figured this out, but they would post an episode once a week, but it could be any day of the week. And when people couldn't rely on when it was coming up, they would lose engagement. So you want to know what your bandwidth is, be very consistent. So only commit to what you know you can do. The best number is between 3 to 5 times a week. But if 1 time a week is what works for you, stick to that. Don't overcommit yourself is what I'm trying to say, because you don't want people to follow you with 3 times a week and then suddenly you don't post for 2 weeks. That's a great way to lose authority, value, and lose engagement. Double down on engagement. The stuff that gets engagement. Now, what's engagement? What's engagement? It's likes, but more importantly, it's comments, saves, and shares. Those are the most important things. Likes are cool, but when I see a lot of comments and a lot of replies to comments and a lot of people sharing, then I know I've got a banger. And Adam loves to point this out. He'll share this with our team all the time. He rarely is like, look how many likes we got, but very often he'll be like, oh my God, you guys, this got 300 shares or 400 shares, or look at all the comments here. That's what you're looking for. Is it creating conversation, opportunities for you to converse and build value? Are people sending it to their friends? Look, people only send things to their friends if they really see value in what you're posting. So double down on that. If something is showing lots of engagement, okay, that seemed to hit a nerve. Let me go down and do that again. Analyze those trends and then A/B test. What's A/B testing? That's a term that they use in online marketing, which means you could do similar posts, but you try one style over another. Now, a lot of people think that means color schemes and font and all that stuff, and that might make a tiny difference. But what I'm talking about really is, how are you communicating a point? I'm going to give you guys an example. Okay, here's a good A/B test. The top 3 things you need to do to burn body fat. I'll use a generic one. Okay, that's one way. Here's the B side of that. So that's the A, here's the B. If you don't do these 3 things, you're killing your fat loss. So what I did is I did a kind of a positive and a negative, and I'll post in that way and see which one gets more engagement. And I'm going to give you the answer right now to that. It's the second one. We've tested that before. So if I say 5 ways to build muscle, cool. If I say, if you don't do these 5 things, you're killing your gains, far more effective. And then from there, you review and you adjust, and you review and you adjust. You're building a business like any other business. You're building it and figuring it out and fine tuning, but consistency is the key with that.
This is where, Ann and Sal both have mentioned the CRM. This is where this really comes into play and helps out, right? Especially those of you that are making a career shift over to being a personal trainer where you're also working another job, or maybe you also are running a household. You're just busy. So you actually organize it. This is the only way that we can manage all the companies that we have. And yet I and Sal still make content for Instagram. Like there is not a huge ROI on that, yet we still see the value in it, but we just have to be super focused about it. And so if you use the CRM, you can go, okay, you can plan it on a day, you can create all that content one day, and then you can set it up to automatically drip, and then you can come back, review, and do all the things that Sal said. Just like I was telling you guys earlier, this is how we do this. Is part of us A/B testing is when Kyle goes, "Hey Adam, that did good. Now let's say it that way," and we'll compare the two and see if which one it performs better. So this is where software like this becomes super beneficial to actually getting very strategic about it and consistent with it.
Yeah. Now, if you're like me and, definitely like I used to be, but still now, not super tech savvy. So a CRM essentially is a program, and our coaches have this. Okay, many of our coaches have this through us. But it's a CRM is I can do a post, or I can organize my posts in one place, and then it spits it out to the social media platforms when I want them. It also helps me analyze the data. That's just one feature. I can also manage payments. My clients can book with me through my CRM. So if you've ever done this with your doctor's office or a chiropractor, you go on their website and you could just book an appointment because it shows what's available on there. It's also a way to generate leads. By the way, I'm going off again. I know, Ann, you hate it when I do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
No, you're good.
With a CR, so with a CRM, so one way to gather leads, for example, is to create something valuable that people have to give you their email to get. So to give you an example, if you go to mindpumpfree.com, we have all these guides on there: fat loss guides, build muscle guides, mobility guides. They're all free and they're all valuable. If you look at the guides, they're good. We made them. We want them to be valuable. But the way you get them is you go there and you enter your email, and then we email you the guide. But now we have your email, and now this is another way to build value. So for you coaches and trainers, an email list is so valuable. And I'm going to put that in the category of social media because it's a great way to collect emails. But when you have an email list, what you could do is every week you could send out a newsletter, or every week you send out a fit tip, or every week you send out a video of an exercise or whatever. And every week you do that, and then you start to see this email list grow and people see value in it. And then you're like, oh, cool, I've got 400 people on there. 300 of them open every email because I've been doing this for a year and they love it. I'm going to send out an email that says I have 5 coaching spots. Boom, full. It's filled right away. So a CRM helps you manage all that. By the way, our CRM has all of our guides in there. So our coaches can use our guides to get leads. So again, mindpumpfree.com, I don't know how many guides we got in there. We got 30, 40, I don't know how many. Those guides become our trainers. They use those to collect leads and to build their email list, which is really, really cool.
The last thing I'll say, because I know we do need to move on, but I want to just drive home the point that both Adam and Sal mentioned. It's all dealing with time management. They're trying to have you earn back your time by putting in systems that automate some of the administrative stuff that takes away from you being able to engage or to take the sales call or to coach the client and do the things within your business that you really enjoy. And that gets back to the bandwidth. So, we were talking yesterday about knowing your price per hour. And if your price per hour is greater than cleaning your house or ordering a takeout real quick because you have XYZ to do, that's where you need to start optimizing your time and your resources so that you can spend your time on things that are really going to move the needle forward in your business so you can show up the way you want. You're not burned out. You're showing up consistently. You're adding the value, but you're doing so from a place of enjoyment rather than necessity, because you're so tired doing all these a million things, which as new business owners, you have a lot of responsibilities. You're in charge of the sales. You're in charge of the fulfillment. You're in charge of the lead generation. You're in charge of the content and the billing and all of these things. And so we just had a great conversation in our forum last week about understanding when it's appropriate to delegate who you should be delegating to. And in some cases, it's a person, but in other cases, it is something like the CRM, which is going to allow you to manage things much more efficiently within your business.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, if you do these things and you practice them and work on them, building a career in fitness is like, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. That's how confident I am in all of this stuff. So, okay, let's talk about AI. And I swear, Anne tried to make it look like me right there. I'm not that handsome though. So, okay, so AI, should we use AI? Yes, yes. It's not going to replace you. It's not going to replace you as a coach or trainer. If Google didn't replace me with diet tips, is that people still need connection. They still want to work with a person. You guys know this. You're trainers and coaches. You're not effective because you know everything. You're effective because of the relationship you build with the person you work with. But AI is going to make things so efficient, like fast and easy. It also helps you make things that are effective, as Anne went over earlier. She, and we teach our coaches and trainers how to do this, but again, she's going to give you guys all this free worksheet that's going to help you. You can prompt ChatGPT and it's going to whittle down what you should probably post or what topics that are going to be most effective for the people that you're trying to connect with. Again, it's not going to replace us and it's not going to make real-time adjustments to programs and protocols. That's what you do, but really think efficiency and effectiveness. All the time that I take trying to figure out what to do, when to do it, and how it's, who I'm communicating to, like AI does that for you. And then boom, 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 you're super effective. Then you combine that with the CRM. And now I have 3 platforms that I'm consistently posting to, and I'm communicating with everybody from all the platforms in one place, and I can manage all of it. And I can collect their payments all in one place, and I can collect my leads all in one place. It makes it so efficient. Like literally building a 6-figure business is like so easy now, and you don't need a staff like you used to. It's pretty awesome.
All right, I just want to add one more thing to the slide. And I was having a conversation with a coach last week, and she was like, Anne, I'm really nervous about the fact that people are just going to ChatGPT instead of hiring coaches for meal plans and workouts. And I know that they're not good by doing that, but they think that this is the solution. And I'm very worried about the future of our profession. And I reminded her of one very simple thing, which Sal just highlighted for you. It's that human connection and that level of support and accountability that will never be replaced by a robot or by software, right? We see that it's optimizing what we're doing and how we're doing it, but we're still the person telling it what we want and how we want it. And so remember that you're still in charge, and that human connection, which we need now more than ever, is what's really going to drive our profession forward, and it's going to make you relevant. It's the application of content. When Google emerged on the scene, teachers were worried that they were going to be out of a job. But it comes back to the application. What do we do with the knowledge we have? How do we present it in a way, right? There's that art and the science of coaching. The science is the technical side. The art is, how am I presenting it in a way that's going to resonate with the person I'm speaking to, knowing that how I present it to Sal may be different than how I present it to Adam based on their personalities and their interests, right?
Awesome. All right, we're coming up here, and I want to make sure I give you guys a little time for questions, but we're going to go through these real quick here. Collaborations, partnerships, and networking. This is very important. Find other coaches and trainers, work with them. Our group works with each other. They boost each other. They help each other. But you can find other social media pages that you refer people to. Then you can send them a DM. I love your content. Build those relationships with other people, and they will become referral factories for you. I'll tell you a quick story before we move on. This is what I did when I first built my business as a trainer, and I went and trained small business owners locally for free. And within 3 months, they were sending me clients because I did such a good job. So very, very important. Okay. You got to invest for long-term success. Okay. You want to have a consistent presence. Successful brands spend 6 to 12 hours a week on social media content. You want to use resources. We have our coaching course, which there is no coaching. By the way, it's a nationally recognized coaching course now. This is pretty cool. You actually get CEUs with our course now through NASM and I believe another national level certification. So we're now nationally recognized. The focus of our course is building your business. It's not biomechanics. It's not nutrition science. It's like, how do I get leads in this scenario, that scenario? How do I close deals? How do I forecast my business? It's all about building your business. You want, and that's education. That's part of the education. The CRM is part of the resource as well. We talked about that as well. CRMs used to cost thousands of dollars a month. Now they're very inexpensive, at least through us. In fact, we're going to give it to you for free, which is pretty cool. So check this out. Our course can be, you can start our course for as little as $93 a month, or if you pay in full, it's $1,097 because that's $200 off. So everybody here today, this is open enrollment. We only do open enrollment when we do webinars. It's $200 off. You can start for as little as $93 a month. I'm getting an echo there. There we go. It comes with, it's all of us conversing. That's how we communicate the information. So it's Adam, Justin, and myself talking in podcast fashion, communicating and teaching. So if you learn that way really well, which we found to be very effective, that's what you get with our content. We cover all kinds of different topics and we coach you. It comes with templates, guides. There's a lot of community support. We have a group of coaches and trainers. Ann and Kyle are in there constantly working with them. And if you sign up today, it's $200 off. You get a free minerals and metals test. This is from Dr. Cabral that you then can administer and work with your clients with. So if you have clients with weird symptoms or whatever, now as a trainer, you can actually give them a metals and minerals test, know how to read it and work with it. You get that for free. You also get, here's my favorite part, 2 months for free on our CRM. So our CRM, $97 a month, you get 2 months for free. So in 2 months, by the way, with the CRM, build your website with it. You get our guides that you can generate leads with. You get those. Those are all yours now. You can use them on your social media. You can manage all your social media platforms with the CRM. You can collect payments and manage those with your CRM. Your clients can schedule with you on the CRM. You get 2 months of that for free. Build your business with it. It's pretty amazing. And of course, we're going to give you Maps Prime and Prime Pro with that. And there are some real people who've done it. So, and we love our trainers. We want to build the best trainers in the world. I want to dominate the industry, guys. I want the best trainers. And the Mind Pump trainers so far are the best. I got to tell you guys, we have 3 coaches that work directly for us. And these 3 coaches are doing more than AAA clubs that I used to manage back in the day. I mean, it's remarkable with 20 and 30 trainers. It's pretty remarkable. This is what the course looks like, by the way. So you can see you get it. And on the left there, all kinds of different content. Click on it and listen to us, break it down and explain to you. And then it comes along with templates and guides that Ann put together. By the way, the first 100 people that sign up for our course, who get all the free stuff, who get the $200 off, all that stuff, the first 100 people get to come to Mind Pump and take a 0.5 NASM CEU course from us. So we'll teach you something else. You'll get credits for your NASM certification, and you'll come for free. You'll be able to attend for free. You won't have to pay a dime to be here. That's the first 100 people. What was the code for the discount and everything? We had that written up there.
And the code is social 2025 all together, so no space. And I just want to reiterate what Sal's talking about. I think the beauty of this course is that it's so much more than a course. It is a community of coaches, whereas this profession can feel slightly isolating, especially when you are working long hours or multiple jobs, because this is right now a passion project. And to have a group of highly engaged, motivated coaches that are willing to collaborate, that don't have that scarcity mindset, that genuinely want to see you win, where you have a mentorship of coaches holding your hand with weekly coaching calls, where you're getting your business looked at and then provided tailored advice just for you to ensure that you are progressing along your own program milestones, is just scratching the surface in terms of how this course is going to set you up for long-term success. But I look at it truly as a mentorship that has the course on the side in addition to CEUs that you're getting now, which is incredible. And then to be able to offer you guys the opportunity to travel to California, to be in our studio, to learn from our team, that is going to be such a great experience in and itself, in my opinion, for why you should be part of this.
I'm so glad you said that, Ann, because I wanted to share with everybody the vision for us when we started to move the business in this direction was really to compete with what we saw was happening in our space, which is a bunch of charlatans or people with minimal experience building trainer businesses, selling courses and coaching for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, where they are these mentorships and masterminds with these trainers that have, and the idea was, can we first build a course that just crushes and outcompetes all of that BS? And then can we build a community that we literally help these trainers build their business? And that's why we're slow, as Sal said before, to grow it. We're not just marketing it and pushing it. We hold these webinars every other month. We open up the enrollment for select people that listen to the webinar that come in. And then our goal is to help you through this process. I saw the chat going like crazy, people asking all kinds of questions. That's what this community is all about. And our idea is that once you've gone through this, hopefully the course answers a lot of questions, but we know there's more after that, and there's going to need more assistance. Then we go back, listen to you guys, the communication. I know we have people that are here right now that are already in the course and already in the community. We're also bringing experts and specialists that are answering the questions that you have most as trainers. You guys have people that are dealing with hormonal issues. Okay, so we'll have like a Gabriel Lyon come in and speak to the community. So we're bringing in and we're using and leveraging our podcast and our reach to bring some of the brightest minds in to speak just to our community on hyper-focused things that are related to coaching clients that have these challenges that you guys are like, oh God, what do I do with this client? So this isn't just about building and scaling your business. It's also about making you guys into great trainers, great operators. And it's not an overnight thing. We're not going to promise you 7-8 figures in your first month. It's going to be constant learning, constant growing, but we're here to help you support you through that process. And besides the course, it's the ongoing attention that we're giving to this community that I think we're most proud of.
Yeah. So again, you guys, we don't just let you go. So you get our course, you get the CRM, and then we help you. And then we're working with you. We're training you. We're helping you build your business through our community. And then as Adam says, my favorite part, we leverage our podcast to bring you the top experts in the world that come into the group and teach you stuff. Like you'll get that nowhere. No one can do that but us because we have the top fitness podcasts in the world. So we leverage it. What do I mean by that? Well, we do things like, hey, you want to come be on the podcast? Of course I do. I'd love to talk to millions of people. It's going to be great for me to sell my whatever. Cool. Part of that, though, is we want you to speak to our group and we want you to teach them about, menopausal training, or we want you to talk to them about the how to, time protein, or we want you to talk to them about mobility work. So we have the world's best experts teaching our trainers and coaches in our group, and that always happens. And that's with our course. Again, it's $200 off. It's mindpumptrainer.com. Use the code SOCIAL2025, and then you get the metals test, and you get the free CRM for 2 months. So you actually get to build your website and build a business for 2 months for free in the CRM. Can we answer some questions? Do we have any questions here that people
they've
are
been
asking?
flying. The questions have been going like crazy. I see Kyle and Ann's been in there the entire time. So
Okay, awesome.
I do want to share, and I know it's getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but just, I know we get so excited about what's coming. The CRM, the $97 a month, having access to all of our guides to generate leads. One of the hardest parts is, okay, let's say you guys figure out all this social media stuff. You're starting to get engagement. You're starting to figure out what your audience wants to hear from you. Then the next thing is actually creating assets, digital assets that are of value, so that people want to give you their email so you can then get them onto your list is the next challenge. We really talked a lot about the front end challenge of creating content, figuring out what that is. That was that type of stuff. The next phase of that is, okay, people are engaging with me like crazy about, back pain that I talk about. Oh, cool. It'd be really a good idea is if you go create a back pain free guide that's a 5,000 word document that helps those people out, that all you ask for them is to get their email address and then you can ship it to them. Well, guess what? Well, that's one of the one of the many free guides that we've created. There's over $1 million in digital assets that we've created that when you get that entry level $97 a month CRM, you guys can now use to capture leads off of your guys' social media. And then once they're in your email list, now we teach and show you guys how to nurture those people and continue to add value so that they eventually turn into customers. This is just the beginning phase. What is right around the corner is the ability for you guys then to sell MAPS programs to all these people, to give access to your clients to all that programming and not cost you any more money. Then the third tier is the final tier, which is those of you that probably already have a business that's cranking and moving, and you don't want to be necessarily attached to MAPS programming. It is white labeling. So they now become yours. It's your brand on all of our digital stuff and you're talking about 25 different programs that we've created, millions of dollars of assets that we've built over the last 10 years will instantly be yours to white label and go out and market yourself. And so the future is incredible. What's coming?
Yeah, that means you can sell a MAPS programs and you make the money, not us. You sell the program and they're yours. And they have the videos, they have the video demos, they have the blueprints, they're yours. Like literally we're going to give you everything you need to build your business. But initially, again, with the CRM that you're going to get 2 months of free access with our course, you get these guides that you could generate all these leads with, which are, I mean, it's that's how we get our leads, you guys. Those are the same guides, by the way. Mindpumpfree.com. If you want to see what those guides are, go there. That's what you'll be able to use, which is pretty awesome. A lot of questions about, will people work with you? Will we work with you to help you build your business after you enroll? Yeah, that's what we do. Through our group, through the community. That's what we're going to continue to do once you become a Mind Pump trainer and coach.
Every week, Ann and Kyle are having these calls. So we're having calls where you guys can come on there and answer these questions. And we're working on even more tailored individual stuff. We recognize that I told the guys I would be like this because I'm not tech savvy whatsoever. I'm the type of person that'd be like, how much do I got to pay you to build this all out or hold my hand through every single step to where I ain't got to think about it? So we're working on ways to individualize that and help those people out. For the time being, we're in there as a community, helping everybody grow together. But we have plans to continue to refine that and add more value to the individual that wants that. But it's not like this, here's your course, see you later. You guys, we have a community of trainers that we're building. And like Sal said, we are all trying to build the baddest trainers in the space. And so we don't want to just let you go after you get the course. We want to make you guys into successful trainers. That's the goal.
All right. So how long are we doing open enrollment for this time, guys? When is this? Because right now you get it for $200 off. You get the 2 months of the CRM for free. You get the free minerals and metals test. You get MAPS Prime and Prime Pro for free. Forgot to say that. You guys get that for free. The first 100 people, again, get to come here and attend something that we're going to teach and get more.
It goes through Sunday.
Okay.
However, once the 100 spots are full for coming to the studio, obviously we'll have that list. So there's that level of like, hey, if you've been sitting on the fence, now's the time. Hop in. You get in for $93 a month, guys. Like there's 3 or 4 different payment plans available to you.
Yep.
Just to elaborate a little bit on that, because we kind of briefly went over that. Another thing that we've been working on, or I should say Ann has been working on, was partnering with NASM on what does that look like, because we want to do continuing education credits for trainers. And so throughout the year, we're going to be doing these. I don't know if we'll probably roll them out quarterly right now. Obviously, it'd be great to scale them up to where we could do them bi-monthly or monthly in the future. But at least now we'll start these quarterly groups where we can actually have you guys in the Mind Pump studio teaching very specific things. An example that would be a huge deep dive just on assessment. What does it look like when we take a client through assessment? They walk in and we go all the way through how we utilize Prime and then how we turn that into pitching and selling. Like that would be an example of a CEU course that we would do inside our facility. We're using this community to steer what those look like. We gather the data from you guys and telling us, hey, this is what I need the most help on, or, oh man, I'd love to see you guys do X, Y, and Z. And then we're building that content around that to continue to add value to that community too. So it's really cool to be in the beginning phases of this, because obviously you guys see people commenting how awesome it is already. It's only getting better. I mean, again, the same philosophy that we built this podcast and this business was value, value, value. Can we continue to just drown our customers with value that they look like, oh my God, I can't believe I got all this for nothing? That's the same formula that we're trying to teach you guys. It's not about going viral. It's not about hacking algorithms. It's about outproducing value compared to everybody else. And it's a good time to be doing this because a lot of people don't get that. Everybody's looking for the quick buck and find challenges and ways to quickly turn your 100 followers into $10,000, and then they make no fucking money 6 months later because they didn't build it the right way. They didn't lay the foundation of the business. That's what you're going to hear from us all the time. You're not going to be overnight millionaires. It's going to be a process. And if you're willing to put the work in and do it, we're going to be there to help you.
All right. You guys ready? Let's do that. I mean, I'm psyched. We already have thousands of people doing this. This is a revolution. We are going to shift the industry. We already have somewhat with the podcast, but it's the trainers that are going to make it happen. You're the soldiers in the field. It gets me so excited. I can't wait.
If you guys, I'm probably going to regret saying this, but if you guys have specific questions, please message me through Messenger or email me. I don't sleep. I mean, I do, but I will get back to you within 24 hours because I've been seeing some questions about like going through the course. I've made videos that will walk you through the modules that explain everything. We have an amazing team here that will hop on a call with you, yes, and be a real person and answer your questions. So use us if you have any questions, and then realize that you're going to get even 100% more support once you're inside the course because we want to see you win.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
All right, you guys, this was great. Thank you so much, Ann. This was wonderful. We will see you guys hopefully in our group. Let's do it.
If I may, real quick before we hop off, if anyone is interested in booking a call and they have more questions after the fact and they want to talk to a person, I've included my meeting link to go over any questions that anybody has for free trainer assessments. It's in the chat. I'd love to help anybody out.
Thanks, Rob.
Appreciate that, Rob. Thank you. I'm sure there's some people that have more questions. That's great. Thank you, buddy.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming.